Well, get your ass kicked at Jiu-Jitsu Wednesday. I had a little bit of an issue trying to get this grouping of movements in my own mind, and it's been difficult. I don't know. It's such an adjustment going from one teaching style to another, and also a completely different variant of Jiu-Jitsu. Because no gi. So it's still a bit of a challenge. A lot of the stuff that I'm learning these days, I learned while in a gi, and so there is some familiarity. There's other stuff. It's just like, I made the association originally to reach over and grab the pant leg instead of the shin, or something like that. Just little things. It's little things, that you wouldn't think they would make that much difference in the outcome of the role, but they do. They do. And so, today what we were doing, it was, I don't know what the name is. It was just basically it was a series of transitions going from a position of being in somebody's guard to getting to a quarter guard position, where they still have you in a quarter guard, and then doing a back step and gathering up the legs and prepping to, do bad things to their legs. And I kept doing this one a little bit wrong, and I kind of figured it out. I think it was like the second or third set of movements that we were adding onto it. And I think I figured it out was that I had to bring my knee up right behind my right behind my opponent's buttock. So it's kind of like a credit card opener, the credit card opening or credit card escape, or however you want to call that one. It's just basically it's a guard escape. And the way I was going through it is just how I'm used to doing it. Is you put your hands on their hips and you tuck your elbows inside their knees, and then you bring the one knee up in between their legs, right? And so when you're pushing down with your upper body, you're forcing their legs open. Well, see, what I like to do after that is I like to take my left hand and park it on my opponent's right knee. And from that position, I like to lay down on top of their thigh, and it flattens out their leg. So it neutralizes a lot of attacks. And if I'm really thinking about it, what I'll do is have my other hand up near my ear. And so when they're bringing up their knee to try and at least keep some sort of grip on me, I've got that to where I can just push it off, with my hand. I can open it up and keep that eighth guard or fourth quarter guard, whatever, from happening. And so that's kind of the way I like to do it, is just lean down on that leg while I've got that wall up, between my elbow and my knee, holding the other leg back. And the way I was going over it that was goofing me up was that I was bringing my knee all the way through and doing the what do you call it, the knee slice on my right side, as opposed to taking my right knee over their right leg. I was taking it over their left leg and keeping it kind of pinned open with by holding the other knee and just sweeping it into the inside there. And I don't know why. It's just it's something that, having done it enough times, that feels natural to me. It feels natural to break somebody's guard that way, is to get those elbows tight on the inside of your own knee, preferably on the one side that you intend to pass on, and flatten the leg. Don't just keep the knee bent or whatever. Flatten their leg. Put your chest on top of their leg and flatten it, and then just hold that knee down. And now that leg's not coming up. And another way to go about it is you can take if you've got your hand there, you could take your right leg and bring it up over their right leg on the top, or from underneath rather. And I don't think that would be as easy. I think if you had the knee and you were bringing your body up from there, to where you had enough clearance to sweep it through, maybe if you were lucky, you'd be able to do it that way. But even so, if you were to do it the way that I had started doing it, where I was taking my right knee and bringing it on the inside of the left knee or left leg of my opponent, and then sweeping it to the outside on their left side, and keeping my foot hooked to where it was like right on the inside of their inner thigh on that side. You can lean back on that, and that'll keep them pretty pinned. And it also set you up for getting their other leg. So like they might bring that other leg up after you've changed where your weight is, and try and hook it over your shoulder or something like that. Just grab under the hamstring and then lean over their other side and post out on your hand, and then bring your right leg right on through onto the other side of their right leg, and then you've already got their right leg tied up in your hand. You've got it maybe tucked to your chest, or at least holding out. You got control over it. But generally speaking, you want to be cupping it right under their knee at least. But you want to have a good grip on it, because you want to use that to swing your other leg around, to swing your right leg around to where you can get it on the other side of their body and just sit down on the top of their hip and pass that leg off, put your arm or hand behind your head and just lean. Tap, 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 taparoo. But yeah, so it was a fun class. It was one of those positions though that I think it would have been interesting to do what do you call it? Positional sparring on. But I figure we'll get to that whenever they feel comfortable doing it. My opponent, my teammate, my training partner. But yeah, so it was a really interesting little roll today. I kept fucking up though, and what was funny though is my legs would end up in the wrong position, or my hips would end up in the wrong position, and to some extent I would just kind of go with it, just to see where it took me or whatever. And I was coming up with some interesting stuff. At one point I had his leg in such a position where it was tied up over his other leg, and I was pulling back on his toes, basically from over his, like his leg was wrapped over his other shin, and then I was pulling down on the toes to keep it trapped. And I think if I would have went a little bit further, it could have been a tap out kind of position. But anyway, it was a lot of fun. I'm assuming at one point or another I'm going to be able to fully articulate like the names of these things where I'm going like, from the truck to the side control to the and I'm just not there yet. Not with this style. And I've noticed that my jiu-jitsu kind of ebbs and flows. I've been a little more sedentary other than jiu-jitsu, so I'm not moving around as much as I should be. And so I picked up a few pounds. I'm back up to like 218. So, I'm just taking it as quickly as I possibly can, and just trying to get better. I didn't stay enrolled today, and I probably should have, but there's a point I reach like in my competency where I start feeling guilty for not staying there. And I can kind of feel that a teeny tiny bit, where I'm still kind of wavering. Like if somebody had said, "Hey, you want to roll?" I probably would have done it. That much encouragement or whatever, I probably would have done it. But that didn't happen, and I was pretty much walking off the mat to begin with. So like I said, I'm not quite to where I'm feeling guilty for having missed out on it, but I am getting there. And I imagine it won't be too much longer before I start feeling guilty for not being there on the days that I typically am not even there. And it's just like I said, it's an ebb and flow kind of thing. My jiu-jitsu has always cycled like that, where I'm always keenly interested in it, but it's like, how much of my time other than my normal load of jiu-jitsu do I dedicate to it? And so like I said, where I'm at right now, I'm on my way there. I imagine a couple classes from now, or maybe even a couple weeks from now, I'll start feeling really fucking guilty for not staying in there and really working on improving my game with a little additional time. They did kind of goof me up a little bit on one thing, but it's just a mental thing. There's always space available to do my own kind of workout and exercise that I feel is necessary. Anyway, let's go ahead and throw down with some music. And it's funny, I'm like questioning whether or not this application is even like connected. I think it is. Because I know that sounds kind of weird, but it's like it's weird because for some reason that's what it is. I'd accidentally clicked on the auto connect button, and that's what happens now. Every time I even start this application, it was connecting, and I'm like, no, disconnect. Anyway, let's go ahead and throw down with some music. And as far as where we're going to start, we're going to start with some body count, because that's what we do. And I don't think I played this last time, but I think it's necessary. I'm starting to get that mild little bit of guilt, that little itch that says, dude, you really probably could have done at least another 5-6 minutes worth of rolling around. And so here it is, body count, carnivore, first dance, here on Coin Metal. "12-foot ninja, dig for bones." And so, as far as what we're going to get into today, I actually did a little bit of searching around and found some stuff. And oh man, I'm hesitant to pick one side to start on. I mean, it's one of those things where got a lot of good stuff to cover today, or at least it's not a lot, but it's a decent amount. Anyway, if I can get through this damn window thing here, yeah, good, wonderful, fucking piece of shit website. Yes, wonderful. Fucking thing. There we go. Alright, and so I managed to get through this fucking clicky window shit. I hate that. There's a period of time before, I want to say it was 1997 or 1998, when you would just get pop-ups all over your fucking desktop from just scripts and stuff that people had designed in their websites. And so when you go to their website, they just pop up, like a bazillion fucking windows just would erupt on your desktop. And so the reaction among the internet community was that they did not like this, and that it had reached a point where they kind of banned it on their servers. And so, to come back around to a time where we have pop-ups all over your fucking website. Fuck you and your fucking pop-ups. Jesus Christ. Anyway, this first thing I got here, it's on crypto-news-flash.com. Launch of Ethereum 2.0 threatens to fail. Only 18.7% allocated in the deposit contract. And I think like 50% of that is Vitalik's money. Anyway, this is by Ronaldo, and it was authored November 17th, 2020. So is today the 18th? And check and verify something. Yeah, today's the 18th. Huh. I wonder if I said that right at the beginning. Anyway, continuing on. And so yes, penis. While Ethereum's 2.0's Phase 0 deployment is scheduled for December 1st, the real deadline for the launch is November 24th, 12 p.m. UTC. In total, 524,288 Ethereum need to be allocated in the deposit contract in order to launch Phase 0 of Ethereum. With only 7 more days left, data from Dune Analytics indicates that there may be an imminent delay ahead. Only 18.75% or 98,304 Ethereum were deposited at the time of publication. The coordinator of Ethereum 2.0, Danny Ryan, posted the following after the publication of the deposit contract's address in case not enough Ethereum are deposited. Quote, "To trigger Genesis at this time, there must be at least 16,384.32 ETH validator deposits 7 days prior to December 1st. If not, Genesis will be triggered 7 days after this threshold has been met, whenever that may be." Wow. Dune Analytics also reveals that only 3,077 transactions from 476 single depositors have been made to the deposit contract. As shown in the image below, the Ethereum that has accumulated since the launch of the deposit contract has been steadily increasing, with a significant rise in the last few days. From November 6th to November 12th, no significant participation was recorded. The trend seemed to change on November 14th and 15th, with more than 16,000 Ethereum sent. However, this might not be enough, as more than 80% are missing. Reasons behind the lack of participation of Ethereum investors. As reported by CNF, investors have to send 32 Ethereum to the deposit contract to be part of the Ethereum 2.0 beacon chain deployment. That way, they can access staking rewards. However, as expressed by investor Quail Wang, there do not appear to be sufficient incentives to encourage investor participation. This problem is part of the development of Ethereum 2 since the introduction of its testnets. On several occasions, Ryan and other core members of Ethereum have had to invite the community to diversify the clients they use and to participate. Therefore, the potential interest of users seems to have been overestimated. Furthermore, it seems that developers have made the decision to implement the deposit contract in a too short time frame due to the pressure to start Phase 0 in 2020 after a long period of delays. Currently, Ethereum is trading at $470 with a gain of 25.56% last month. While the fundamentals for a price breakout are strong, this might be why many investors prefer to have liquidity to take profits rather than leaving their Ethereum locked in for at least 2 years. In addition, Ethereum miners appear to have reservations about ETH2. The inventor of Ethereum, Vitalik Buterin, has already stated that the future of the network does not favor miners. Therefore, it seems logical that this sector should refrain from sending Ethereum to a deposit contract. One miner stated, quote, "A lot of us ETH miners aren't staking because that means accelerating the end of Ethereum mining. So, by us not staking, we're saving quite a bit." However, some solutions have been proposed to increase the participation. For example, a Yearn developer suggested creating an Ethereum 2.0 validator vault to allow small investors to participate. Dharma Capital wants to provide loans so that investors have to have access to the rewards of the investment, but not using stablecoins. Yeah, these people, they do not understand that nobody, well, I shouldn't say nobody, very, very few people, by comparison to those who like Ethereum as a proof of work coin, are actually interested in transitioning over to Ethereum 2.0 or Ethereum 2 or Phase 0 or whatever. I mean, basically, it's like, Vitalik is basically saying, I don't want miners. Fuck the miners. Well, you know what? If the miners say, well, fuck Ethereum, we're just going to mine Ethereum Classic because it's still a proof of work coin and it's still following the original roadmap of Ethereum. So why don't we just give them our hashing power instead? I guarantee you Ethereum would drop really fast from being number 2 on the list. And yeah, this danger always exists for any cryptocurrency. It has to be worth people's while to mine your coin. If it is more profitable to abuse your network and fuck up your coin, that's what people are going to do. If you go back and read the Bitcoin white paper, it says explicitly people should want to play by the rules because it is more profitable to play by the rules than to attempt to cheat. And as long as that's true, you have potential security against people hacking your coin. However, when that stops being true, and you lose a lot of your hashing power and a lot of your network, that makes it a lot easier to hack your shit. And there's so much money tied up in Ethereum contracts. It's like, why? Why would you look for a less secure means of keeping that money where it is? I continue to talk about adversarial actors because it seems like there's this tendency to kind of pretend that they don't exist, and then we can just build willy-nilly on these coins and on these networks, and we're not ever going to have any real problem. Well, reality sets in after a while, and when you read after enough of these projects getting hacked and enough exchanges getting hacked, you start to understand that security is best in your hands. Your hands are basically the safest. They're also the most dangerous in that you can always lose your own funds, but that doesn't go away. That threat doesn't go away. You can lose your wallet, your physical wallet that's got physical dollar bills in it. The money is just as lost as if you lost a digital wallet from your cell phone. You dropped your cell phone in the toilet, killed the cell phone, killed the wallet, couldn't recover the wallet because you weren't smart enough to write down a wallet seed, or the seed phrase rather. And so, this threat doesn't go away. We like to pretend it does. We like to pretend we can shield ourselves from it, but we really can't. And I think that Vitalik, looking at the security that's provided by that proof of work network and saying, in the future, we don't want to properly reward you for maintaining our network. We just basically want to drop trow and piss all over you for your hard work and effort. And I don't think that's really the kind of thing that you want to be telling the people that are maintaining the network that provides all the goodness that has enriched your life and the lives of many others, by the way. Sorry about that, I had to get a sip. Anyway, as far as where else we're going to go tonight, that was just one little taster here. But I wanted to get into this white paper because it's very important that we get some context before we go forward. And fortunately enough, it's relatively short, so as far as white papers go. And anyway, this is the white paper on originprotocol.com introducing OUSD, the first stablecoin that earns a yield while it's still in your wallet. White paper enabling true peer-to-peer commerce. Executive summary. Origin is an open source platform that enables the creation of peer-to-peer marketplaces and e-commerce applications. The Origin platform initially targets the global sharing economy, allowing buyers and sellers of fractional use goods and services, car sharing, service-based tasks, home sharing, etc., to transact on the distributed open web. Using the Ethereum blockchain and interplanetary file system, IPFS, the platform and its community participants can interact in a peer-to-peer fashion, allowing for the creation and booking of services and goods without traditional intermediaries. We intend to enable a large-scale commerce network that 1. Transfers direct financial value, listing, transaction, and service fees from large corporations like Airbnb, Craigslist, Postmates, etc. to individual buyers and sellers. 2. Transfers indirect financial and strategic value, privately aggregated silos of customer and transaction data from those same corporations to the entire ecosystem. What? Transfers indirect financial and strategic value, privately aggregated silos of customer and transaction data from those same corporations to the entire ecosystem. Okay, so basically they're going to be tracking all of Walmart's traffic through them and selling that metadata to everybody else. Continuing. Number 3, creates new financial value for marketplace participants to contribute to the growth of the network, ergo building new technology for the Origin platform, bootstrapping new product verticals, and referring new users and businesses. What's a new product vertical? Can someone define that for me? 4, is built on an open, distributed, and sharing data layer to promote transparency and collaboration. 5, immediately allows buyers and sellers across the world to do business with each other without difficult currency conversions or tariffs. 6, promotes personal liberty by not allowing a central corporation or government to impose arbitrary and oftentimes onerous rules on how to do business. To accomplish these ambitious goals, we've created the Origin platform with incentives that encourage other technologists, businesses, and consumers to build, contribute to, and extend the ecosystem with us. We imagine a broad collection of vertical use cases, ergo short-term vacation rentals, freelance software engineering, tutoring for hire, that are built on top of Origin standards and shared data. As of this writing, the Origin platform is currently in mainnet beta. The 1.0 platform launch is scheduled in Q1 of 2020. While much of the engineering work has thus far been shouldered by our core engineering team, we anticipate that a significant amount of future development after the 1.0 launch will come from our growing open source community. Together we create the internet economy of tomorrow. This white paper details why a new form of peer-to-peer commerce needs to exist, the proposed benefits of the Origin platform, our product strategy, key features, and technical overview. An overview of the Origin team and our community. Why? Background. Since the advent of the internet, digital marketplaces have paired buyers and sellers of goods and services to enable transactions that were never before possible. Craigslist launched in 1995 and for years dominated in local and neighborhood commerce. That same year, eBay was started and created an entirely new category of auction-based sales. creating a more market-efficient way to do business. Fast forward 20 years, and countless internet marketplace businesses in both the B2C and B2B categories have flourished. In recent times, sharing economy marketplaces like Airbnb, Uber, Getaround, Fiverr, and TaskRabbit have paired buyers and sellers of the sharing economy with great success. Fractional usage of assets can now be, quote, sold just as easily as atomic items. What? And people all over the world are exchanging their excess inventory, time, and skills for financial gain. These new marketplaces that focus on gigs, services, and fractional asset use are particularly well suited for disruption by peer-to-peer systems built on the blockchain. Most sharing economy businesses have several things in common. First, as a collection, these companies have created tremendous impact to the world. Consumers of marketplaces have been able to improve their lives with access to products and services that were not available previously. Suppliers have used these platforms to reach customers at great scale and ease than before. Or greater? Did they use... Yeah, greater scale. Each marketplace creates a, quote, home for buyer and supplier to come together and transact, creating liquidity for that market. Second, most sharing economy businesses follow the same growth life cycle. Save for a few exceptions, these marketplaces are notoriously difficult to start and grow. Marketplace businesses oftentimes require millions of dollars just to get off the ground and, in the case of Uber and Airbnb, billions to scale. It is the norm for these businesses to run at a deep loss in the early days. In effect, the corporation is subsidizing the usage of the marketplace for the participants. However, because of highly positive cross-site network effects, successful marketplace businesses are able to grow revenue exponentially over time, usually by charging a service fee for every transaction that happens on the network. Network effect businesses like sharing economy marketplaces are usually winner-takes-all businesses, and at mature stages extract a disproportionate amount of value from the network for the managing corporations and their shareholders. In many ways, they begin looking like monopolies once they reach scale. That's the whole point of quote-unquote scaling, is to narrow the provider end down to the point where one provider is supplying millions of users. It's a stupid idea. Continuing on. Finally, while there are very significant differences in user experience, business mechanics, and vertical specific features among internet marketplace companies, they all share many pieces that have been built and rebuilt many times. Lyft, Postmates, and DoorDash have each individually engineered their own solutions to user and supplier profiles, purchase experiences, matching algorithms, and reviews and ratings. This is valuable proprietary technology on the one hand. On the other, it is a wasteful use of time. And on the other hand, it is a wasteful use of time and effort to reinvent the wheel each time to create a new marketplace vertical. Consumers are also left creating and managing dozens of accounts on these marketplace companies, each of which owns their personal data and transaction history. The wasteful time and effort to reinvent the wheel each time, that's having done that groundwork keeps you from the necessity of having to have people funding you. continuing on. It's doing the actual quote-unquote work involved. For several years now, blockchain innovators and investors have called for teams to build peer-to-peer versions of existing sharing economy businesses and create even more efficient way to conduct internet commerce. Quote, peer-to-peer lodging sites like Airbnb have already begun to transform the lodging industry by making a public market in private housing. However, adoption may be limited by concerns about safety and security, guests, and property damage. Hosts. By enabling a secure, tamper-proof system for managing digital credentials and reputation, we believe blockchain could help accelerate the adoption of peer-to-peer lodging. And that's Goldman Sachs research, blah, blah, blah. Don Tapscott, author of Blockchain Revolution, says that the technology underlying Bitcoin could be used to disrupt the likes of Uber and Airbnb. No, it's not one of those things. I mean, really, why would you worry about it? Like, I mean, Uber and Airbnb could just as easily be taking payments in Bitcoin or any other cryptocurrency as any other service, any other person wanting to provide taxi service. You know, but you do get some additional assurances of Uber and Airbnb. Anyway, continuing quote. It will be very difficult for intermediaries to have sustainable business cases, Fritz Jusen said. These platforms, travel intermediaries, build reach by spending billions on advertising, and then they create monopolistic margins on top of what they have as sales and marketing. They do offer great sales and marketing. Booking.com is a great brand, but they create superior margins because they have monopolistic structures. Blockchain destroys this. Yeah, he's full of shit. However, much of the infrastructure and plumbing to build distributed marketplace apps did not exist prior to Origin. We aim to address the shortcomings of existing marketplace companies and are excited that we have launched the Origin platform as a way to usher in peer-to-peer commerce at scale. Unfair value capture, or shortcomings of existing marketplaces. Unfair value capture. Value taken by today's trusted intermediaries is oftentimes not commensurate with the value they create. In addition, value capture is concentrated to the network operators and not to the network participants. As an example, we can examine Airbnb, which has built a business currently valued at a reported $38 billion. Airbnb has built an impressive technology platform that facilitates online bookings and reviews, as well as launched local operations teams to bootstrap and cultivate local markets. Even in 2017, the company boasted 4 million short-term rental listings. There is no denying that Airbnb has added immense value to the ecosystem by supplying both bits and blocks to the ecosystem. The short-term home rental market would not exist without Airbnb having created it. Today, the technology platform has been built and the marketplace grows organically with new hosts and users both proactively seeking out Airbnb's website and the mobile app. Airbnb charges guests 5 to 15% and hosts 3 to 5% of every booking. This means that Airbnb will capture as much as 20% of the value of every transaction, regardless of whether additional work is being done by the company. Airbnb also automatically withholds local taxes as well, which can be significant. For example, the hotel taxes in Chicago, Atlanta, and Seattle are 16%. Well, Now you know where not to stay. It's worth noting that Airbnb is not alone in charging egregious fees for its matching service. Online travel agencies like Booking.com and Expedia charge affiliate hotels 15 to 30% of transaction value. In this case, while buyer and seller are both better off than they would be without Airbnb, they are leaving money on the table since both sides would be willing to meet at a price somewhere in the middle. A more efficient market would exist if the transaction fees were removed or even decreased. Buyer and seller will both be better off economically as Airbnb is disintermediated. Wrong. Anyway, continuing. Quote, what if efficient marketplaces could be built that do not charge expensive transaction fees? Yeah, we already did that. It's called Bitcoin. Further, as Airbnb has thrived, it is the company's shareholders that will reap the handsome rewards. The company's founders, venture capitalists, and employees will make an immense amount of money in an IPO that is anticipated in 2020. But what about Airbnb's earliest hotels that supplied liquidity to the market? Sure, they benefited by making revenue on the platform, but they are not getting outsized rewards for their integral contributions in the early days of the marketplace like employees and investors are. In a somewhat exaggerated analogy, the company is running a feudal system where its hosts act as serfs to overfill the network owners' coffers. How do we allow early contributors to important networks capture value more fairly? What? Okay. Data is siloed by private corporations. Each marketplace operator controls a valuable but closed store of user and transaction data. We believe users should be able to own and control their own data. We also believe that transparency is critical for trust. Too often, corporations control access to their users' own data for their own benefit. When guests set up a methamphetamine lab in an early Airbnb apartment, Airbnb's team of lawyers immediately descended with non-disclosure agreements and hush money to stop the negative press from getting out. That might have been the right decision for Airbnb, but the company's customers deserve to know the truth so that they can make informed decisions with whom to transact business. With the blockchain, everything is public and immutable. So, transparency is a default feature. Open shared data also has the positive externality of encouraging competition and ever-improving updates to the community. Quote, what if network data was owned by the community and not a private operator? Potential lack of innovation. Once a category winner has been defined in marketplace verticals, that company is usually able to maintain a mostly monopolistic position. Having more buyers and sellers means more capital to further grow the business. Having invaluable troves of data, marketing dollars, and brand recognition are all powerful moats that prevent competitors from entering the market, thereby stifling innovation. The most salient example is probably Craigslist, the first mainstream services and goods marketplace on the internet, which has thrived for over 20 years, despite having an outdated user experience, lacking a dependable and trustworthy reputation system, and even failing to provide a native way to pay for transactions safely and easily. There have been a countless number of Craigslist competitors that fell flat despite offering buyers and sellers a safer, easier buying experience simply because Craigslist had first mover advantage and ingrained network effects. The buyers go where the sellers are, and the sellers go where the buyers are. Quote, what if buyers and sellers met on an open, decentralized network that created incentives for everyone to work together and innovate for community interest? We envision a future where innovations are constantly made to underlying infrastructure, product features, and business mechanics to the benefit of the entire network of buyers and sellers. Arbitrary rule changes and censorship. When marketplaces are governed by individual corporations, these corporations can and will change policies and rules on a whim. In many cases, they have the best intentions of the community in mind. In others, they have much more selfish interests. There are countless examples of marketplace operators spiting the very members that have created great value for them. Vitalik. As sharing economy marketplaces grow, suppliers and buyers increasingly become abstracted away into the numbers, and some are left feeling like they're, quote, cogs in the wheel. Uber has increased their take from drivers from 15% all the way to 30% over the years, and drivers have no ability to impact these decisions. Many early Uber drivers now feel that they have been taken advantage of as the ride-sharing giant has scaled its operations. In 2017, Airbnb made news for kicking guests out of rented properties and canceled their accounts after discovering those guests were planning to attend a KKK rally. While few people sympathize with Klan members that promote racist and violent ideology, it's a slippery slope for Airbnb to start taking an opinionated stance on who is allowed to use their service. What about members of controversial political and religious groups? The personal leanings of a marketplace's founder, no matter how mainstream, should not interfere with the decisions of marketplace buyers and sellers. Damn Skippy. Many Etsy sellers live in constant fear of their stores being shut down for copyright violations or breaking arbitrary rules like having duplicate listings or failing to disclose team members. There are many stories of store owners having their livelihoods extinguished with little to no recourse. Similar stories of platforms shutting down accounts or seizing funds are all too common on eBay, Amazon, and many other popular marketplaces. Sellers complain, of course, but few realistic alternatives exist. Sellers complain, of course, but few realistic alternatives exist. Tampering of rules is not reserved only for private corporations that manage the marketplaces. Airbnb's home city of San Francisco has passed local ordinances forbidding the home rental company from taking bookings from hosts who have not properly registered their homes. The new regulations are so restrictive that thousands of rental properties in San Francisco have now been banned from the platform. Dozens of other cities followed San Francisco's actions and used them as a model for how to pass their own restrictions concerning home sharing. Airbnb represents a single point of failure in this case, and hotel industry lobbyists can attack this valuable industry easily and effectively. Finally, is an oft-cited example of importance of cryptocurrencies, WikiLeaks was able to survive the U.S. banking blockade due to Bitcoin donations from their supporters. By building tools for people to transact with each other in a trustless, distributed fashion, we can eliminate these single points of failure in our systems that undermine our personal liberties. Quote, what if goods and services that added value to the ecosystem could freely trade on their fair market prices and quantities without tampering from biased third parties? Now is the time for change. The market is ready for a new peer-to-peer form of commerce. The world is moving to a gig economy where more and more individuals provide goods and services as their primary or supplemental way of earning income. Over 22% of U.S. adults have become suppliers to the sharing economy as of 2016, and this number is expected to increase over time. These suppliers will hugely benefit from an open network that does not charge exorbitant transaction and service fees. Gross bookings on the sharing economy are expected to exceed $335 billion by 2025. Platform revenues, mostly fees taken by the companies for the sharing economy, are expected to more than double to $40.2 billion in the next 5 years. While the overall market continues to boom, value capture is only shifted in favor to the regional monopolies. Recently, Airbnb dramatically increased its fees for hosts in many global regions, from 3 to 5% to 14%. Similarly, Uber's advertised 25% commission rate is not actually significantly higher when factoring in an additional fees that are passed on to their drivers. For example, the median commission that Uber charges in San Francisco was recently estimated at 39%. Kiss my ass. Holy crap. We're going to take a pause right there, and we'll pick it up on the other side of the music break. Just want to check one thing before we get back to that. Let's see if I had any suggestions, because I'm on MeWe right now, and I don't see any. So, I'm just going to go with what we know. And as far as where that will be, let's see here. We got a little bit of dope. I'm thinking dope. Let's go with Survive. Here it is. Survive by Dope. Here on CoinMetal. And that was Exodus with Open Season. And so, let's get back into this thing. So where we end off at, Uber charges in San Francisco is recently estimated at 39%. And we're on page, come on, tell me what page we're on. No indication actually. The world is also moving more and more to global versus local commerce. Sellers are able to provide services and many times products and goods to customers across the world. Currently, a Lyft messenger would not be able to ride on the Didi Chuxing ride-sharing network, China's largest ride-sharing company, save for the fact that the two companies signed a deep partnership that was months in the making and involved a mutual investor pouring hundreds of millions of dollars into both companies. In a global but openly distributed marketplace, a customer would be able to purchase services from suppliers without the need for new accounts, complicated currency exchanges, or prerequisite negotiated deals. Concurrently, the technology is finally starting to be in place to support large-scale decentralized commerce. Bullshit, it's already been here for about a decade. With the official launch of Ethereum in July 2015, the world was given its first widely adopted blockchain that supported smart contracts. Ethereum was has created, programmable money, and just as importantly, a community of developers, evangelists, and investors that are committed to furthering the technology stack and use cases. On the data storage side, the Interplanetary File System, IPFS, has gained traction as a distributed data repository for the open persistent web. With the expected future launch of Filecoin and their proof of replication (POR) and proof of spacetime (POST), large amounts of data will be able to be stored in a distributed and trustless fashion with the right incentive model to make it work. Built on top of these two underlying technologies, the Origin platform has been live in beta for nearly a year. After getting valuable feedback from thousands of early users, we are launching the 1.0 version of the Origin platform in Q1 of 2020. We believe that now is the perfect time to push forward the peer-to-peer marketplace and e-commerce markets to take advantage of growing market demands and promising technology innovations. Dude, the fucking Silk Road did this shit already. The guy's in prison right now. The Origin platform, the sharing economy today, tomorrow, blah, blah, blah. It gives a nice little graph. Enabling decentralized marketplaces. Our vision is to promote the open and free exchange of services in the new internet. To do this, we have built a platform that replicates much, if not all, of the functionality of third-party intermediaries on the blockchain and other distributed systems. This is an ambitious goal and technically difficult engineering challenge, but we have already hit early milestones to prove out our technology and early use cases. The Origin platform has three major components that are all open source. 1. Origin-enabled end-user applications. Number 2. Origin developer infrastructure. And number 3. Origin protocols. DApp, user-friendly decentralized application, enables buyers and sellers to meet, communicate, and transact. I guess this is like a visual of their stack. Developer libraries, easy-to-use JavaScript library allows developers to build a decentralized marketplace in minutes. Open source protocols, blockchain standards for user identity, publishing listings, and peer-to-peer transactions. Origin-enabled end-user applications. The Origin flagship marketplace app is our customer marketplace product that allows buyers and sellers on the network to do business. It is available today on the web at shoporigin.com on both iOS and Android mobile devices. Today there is one primary Origin marketplace decentralized app, though there are multiple vertical specific dApps. Ergo, in-home sharing or services verticals that are currently being actively developed. There are also multiple third-party applications already running on the Origin platform. Users can use the Origin flagship marketplace app provided they have the original mobile app, the Origin mobile app, or an Ethereum wallet, and a Web3-enabled browser like Coinbase Wallet, IamToken, Trust Wallet, or MetaMask. Sellers can create listings, set availability of their offerings, and accept payment. Buyers can browse and search a full index of goods and services offered on the Origin Marketplace DApp, and, most importantly, make purchases. The original DApp serves as a lightweight client on the Origin platform. The front-end code can even be hosted and distributed on the open IPFS network. Of particular note is that we don't intend for the Origin DApp to be the only access user and transaction data. Our code, protocols, and specifications are all 100% open source, and we expect and hope that others will extend and fork the code to create their own front-end experiences. Already we have had over 170 open source contributors participate in improving our core libraries and initial marketplace app. There are already multiple third-party dApps running on the Origin platform across numerous verticals such as home sharing, luxury e-commerce, and fine art. We see the Origin flagship marketplace app as just the first way to interact with the Origin protocols. In the coming months and years after our 1.0 launch, we expect hundreds of third-party websites, mobile apps, and even new APIs to be built on top of the network. To that end, we expect new and better user experiences that focus on specific verticals, ergo, home sharing versus tasks, or regions, Brazil versus Switzerland, to be created that can drill deeper on custom features and localization. These third-party developer applications will take advantage of all or parts of the underlying Origin developer infrastructure and protocols. We intend to support fully decentralized applications, partially decentralized applications, ergo applications that use managed wallets, and even mostly centralized applications that are still focused on peer-to-peer commerce, ergo applications that utilize the Origin token for incentives that are hosted on traditional infrastructure. Origin developer infrastructure. Let me see where we're at on this thing. Hopefully we're almost there. I guess we're still enabling peer-to-peer commerce. You know what? I think we've gone far enough into this thing. We understand what they're trying to develop. We understand a little bit of how they intend to do it. But I was expecting this was going to go a lot quicker, honestly. I didn't think it was going to end up being about 30 pages of text of them talking about, their basic shit. Let's see if they've done anything different in here. Benefits and blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Alright, so we've covered enough of this white paper to understand what the Origin platform is all about and what they're wanting to do, right? So, fast forward, let's see. When did they launch this thing? I think it was like November something, like this month. Alright, anyway, so fast forward just a teeny tiny bit, and this is on medium.com, Origin's Medium page. Urgent. OUSD was hacked, and there has been a loss of funds. This is by Matthew Liu, and it was authored November 16th. OUSD has been hacked, and there has been a loss of user funds. We are actively investigating the issue. We are committed to making things right. Please refer to this blog post as the authoritative source for continual updates over the course of the next few days. Updated 10:15 p.m. UTC, 11/17/2020. We are currently focused on gathering data with the aim of recovering funds for our OUSD holders. We will continue to provide frequent updates with our findings. Please stay tuned. Let's see, it was updated at 10:38 a.m. UTC. Let's see, I think that was actually the latest one. No? Okay. Updated at 10:38 a.m. UTC, 11/17/2020, Micah Alcorn. As promised in an earlier update, we wanted to provide a detailed walkthrough of the attack on the OUSD vault, and that happened earlier today. We'll follow up with a full post-mortem in the coming days to explore a variety of ways to prevent future attacks. For now, we want to quickly shed light on what happened. We will also have an upcoming post discussing the latest on our efforts to recover funds, as well as our worst-case scenario plans to compensate users if we're unable to recoup user deposits. The attack originated from an address with a contract deployed at November 17, 2020 at 12:56 a.m. UTC. Here's a description of the transactions that were initiated by this contract. November 17, 2020, 12:47:19 a.m. UTC. Number 1, the flash loan. 70,000 Ethereum was borrowed from DYDX. Number 2, the stablecoin swaps. 17,500 Ethereum was exchanged for 7,855,911.53 USDT on Uniswap. 52,500 Ethereum was exchanged for 20,987,772.08 DAI on Uniswap. Number 3, the simple mint. Our mint method, which allows the sender to use one type of stablecoin to mint OUSD, was called with 7,500,000 USDT. 7,500,000 USDT was transferred to the vault. 7,500,000 OUSD was minted and transferred to the attacker as intended. At this point, the attacker held a little over half of all OUSD in existence, and the vault had an equivalent amount of collateral to support a supply of roughly 14,518,200 OUSD. Number 4, the reentrancy. Our mint multiple method, which allows the sender to use more than one type of stablecoin to mint OUSD, was called with 20,500,000 DAI as the first stablecoin. And it gives us a nice little script. Instead of using a second valid stablecoin, the attacker used the address of the malicious contract itself. Our contract failed to detect that this was not one of our 3 supported stablecoins. 20,500,000 DAI was transferred to the vault. In an attempt to transfer the fake stablecoin, our contract called safe transfer from on the attacker's contract. This function contained its own hidden call to mint 2,000 USDT, which our contract did not anticipate. The 2,000 USDT mint triggered a rebase of the OUSD supply, which caused everyone's OUSD balance to increase by a factor of approximately 2.41. 35,018,200 vault value by 14,518,200 OUSD supply. In other words, the contract thought that the additional $20,500,000 of value had come from earnings, since no additional OUSD had actually been minted yet. At this point, the attacker held approximately 18,090,156 OUSD when the vault value was 35,018,200. The 2,000 USDT was transferred to the vault. 2,000 OUSD was minted and transferred to the attacker, causing the OUSD supply to increase to an approximately 35,020,200. 20,500,000 OUSD was minted and transferred to the attacker, causing the OUSD supply to increase to 55,520,200, despite only having a value of 35,018,200. At this point, the attacker held 38,592,156 OUSD, which exceeded the value of the vault. Number 5. The initial OUSD swaps. 300,000 OUSD was exchanged for 158,550 and 17 cent USDT on Uniswap. 1 million OUSD was exchanged for 520,756 and 83 cents USDT on SushiSwap. 6. The first redeem. 19,557,311 and 44 DAI was withdrawn from the OUSD vault. 9,417,676 and 79 cents USDT was withdrawn from the OUSD vault. 3,931,953.44 USDC was withdrawn from the OUSD vault. 33,269,189 and 62 cents OUSD was burned as intended. Number 7. The reverse stablecoin swaps. 10,450,895 and 33 cents USDT was exchanged for 22,898.58 Ethereum on Uniswap. 3,931,953 and 45 cents USDC was exchanged for 8,305.92 Ethereum on Uniswap. 19,045,083 and 52 cents DAI was exchanged for 47,976 and 0.52 Ethereum on Uniswap. Number 8. The loan repayment. 70,000 Ethereum was returned to DYDX. November 17th, 2020 at 12:47 a.m. UTC, 1 million DAI was transferred to the attacker's account. November 17th, 2020 at 12:48 a.m. UTC, 1,138,449 and 12 cents OUSD was redeemed for a mix of stable coins. November 17th, 2020, 12:49:23 a.m. UTC, 531,688 and 76 OUSD was redeemed for a mix of stable coins. November 17th, 2020, 12:49 and 47 a.m. UTC, 248,059 and 48 cents OUSD was redeemed for a mix of stable coins. And let's see here. November 17th, 2020 at 12:50:04 a.m. UTC, 543,305 and 34 cents USDT and 226,832 and 53 cents USDC were converted to Ethereum on Uniswap and transferred to the attacker's account, along with 1,128,244 and 36 DAI, and 36 cents DAI. On November 17th, 2020 at 12:51:43 a.m. UTC, 115,732 and 21 cents OUSD was redeemed for a mix of stable coins. November 17th, 12:53 and 26 a.m. UTC, 53,994 and 89 cents OUSD was redeemed for a mix of stablecoins. 12:53, 300,000 OUSD was exchanged for 60,505 and 30 cents USDT on Uniswap. And also 1 million OUSD was exchanged for 187,152 and 67 cents USDT on Sushi Swap. And 12:56 and 58 a.m. UTC, 25,191 and 33 cents in OUSD was redeemed for a mix of stablecoins. 12:57 and 7 seconds a.m. UTC, 300,000 OUSD was exchanged for 29,803 and 8 cents USDT on Uniswap. 1 million OUSD was exchanged for 98,401 and 29 cents USDT on Sushi Swap. At 12:59 and 49 a.m., 11,616 and 27 cents OUSD was redeemed for a mix of stablecoins. 12:59, 48 a.m., 434,407 and 95 cents USDT and 24,443 and 08 cents USDC were converted to Ethereum on Uniswap and transferred to the attacker's account, along with 121,577 and 54 cents in DAI. 1:08 a.m. and UTC, 1:01 and 8 seconds a.m. UTC, 498,487 and 66 cents OUSD was transferred back to the developer of the OUSD contract Origin Protocol. As of the time of writing, the attacker is holding approximately $3,309,557 worth of Ethereum and 2,249,822 DAI after having laundered a substantial amount through Tornado Cash, WBTC, and RenBTC. We are watching the following BTC addresses and are asking exchanges to blacklist any transactions from these wallets. Whatever. We will continue our efforts to recover these funds and appreciate information that may help our cause. Please contact in our Discord or Telegram if you have any information that may help us identify the hacker and recover the user funds. Let's see, updated at 8:43 a.m. November 17th, 2020, Josh Frazier. We are continuing to work to try to recover the funds. If you're still providing liquidity on Sushi Swap, we advise you should remove your funds as soon as possible. We also strongly advise you do not attempt to buy or sell OUSD at this time. And also updated at 5:15 a.m. UTC, the 17th of November, Matthew Liu. In the last 3 hours, we have made progress understanding the attack and tracking the flow of funds from the OUSD vault to the attacker's wallets. We are actively working on measures in an attempt to recoup the funds. This includes working with exchanges and other third parties to potentially identify the attacker and/or freeze funds from being liquidated. We have traced funds and know that the attacker used both Tornado Cash and RenBTC to wash and move funds. Currently, there is still 7,137 ETH and 2.249 million DAI sitting in one of the attacker's wallets. Again, here's the transaction for the attack. Here's an early synopsis of the attack. The attack was a retracency bug in our contract. Unfortunately, our contract was safe from retracency bugs unless one of our supported stablecoins was attacking us. Number 2, the attacker exploited a missing validation check in Mint Multiple, when minting OUSD with multiple stablecoins, to pass in a fake, quote, stablecoin under their control. This stablecoin was then called, quote, transfer from on by the vault, allowing the hacker to exploit the contract with a retracency attack in the middle of the mint. The attacker was able to create a rebase event inside the second mint after funds had been moved to OUSD from the first large mint, but before the supply of OUSD increased. This created a massive rebase for everyone in the contract, including the attacker. The attacker then also received their first large OUSD mint, giving them in total more OUSD than the contract had assets. The attacker withdrew most of the stablecoins from OUSD. They were then able to take extra OUSD after withdrawing and selling it on Uniswap and SushiSwap for USDT in subsequent transactions. A more thorough transaction-by-transaction analysis will be forthcoming. We will be taking exhaustive measures in the next few days in an attempt to recover lost user funds before discussing a compensation plan for affected OUSD holders. As a reminder, please do not buy OUSD on Uniswap or SushiSwap, as the current prices do not reflect OUSD's underlying assets. To the hacker, we ask that you do the right thing and return the funds. You've demonstrated your superior skills as a hacker, and we'd happily hire you as a security consultant. If you return 100% of the user funds, we promise not to pursue you or any legal action against you. We humbly ask you to consider the hundreds of innocent people you are hurting and return the funds. Lastly, we want to express our gratitude to the greater blockchain community. We've received an outpouring of support from our investors, DeFi engineers, security experts, etc. in these trying times. We're very thankful to the groups that are helping us further analyze the attack, trace funds, and potentially identify the attacker. Thank you from our entire team. Oh shit. Okay, so let's see. Do I want to go back to the original post? No, because I want to cover this from at least one other perspective, and because I've got it on another website. Let me see here. Let's see. I'm trying to find. Let's see. Here we go. This is on portswigger.net. Origin dollar cryptocurrency hacked to the tune of $7 million in less than 2 months after the launch. And this is by Adam Bannister, and it was authored on November 17th, 2020 at 1440 UTC. And so, yes, penis. Origin Protocol is scrambling to recover $7 million worth of stolen Origin dollar after the recently launched stablecoin project was hacked. The San Francisco-based blockchain company disabled deposits to the vault after detecting a so-called retracency attack that took place this morning, November 17th. Origin co-founder Matthew Liu, who tweeted news of the attack 2 hours after it took place, said the pilfered funds included $1 million deposited by Origin and our founders and employees. The project's native token has shed 85.3% of its value in the past 24 hours, according to CoinGecko. OUSD was launched in late September with the promise of generating yields while funds sit passively in wallets. Stablecoins are pegged to cryptocurrencies, fiat money, or exchange-traded commodities to minimize price volatility. Quote, tracking the flow. Around 4 hours after the attack took place, Liu's fellow Origin co-founder Josh Fraser said the company had made progress understanding the attack and tracking the flow of the funds from the OUSD vault to the attackers' wallets, and were actively working on measures in an attempt to recoup the funds. He added, quote, this includes working with exchanges and other third parties to potentially identify the attacker and or freeze funds from being liquidated. Liu said a compensation plan for affected OUSD holders would also be discussed. Users have been urged not to buy OUSD as the current prices do not reflect OUSD's underlying assets and to remove funds from liquidity pools. Liu promised that Origin would not pursue legal action against the culprit, quote, if they returned the stolen funds. Missing validation check. Fraser said the stolen funds, which had been washed using Tornado Cash and Ren BTC, had been traced to an Ethereum wallet containing over 7,137 Ethereum and 2.249 million DAI. Discussing the hack, the Origin co-founder said the attackers capitalized on a missing validation check to pass in a fake stablecoin, which was then called Transfer From by the Vault. This apparently allowing the attacker to exploit the contract with a retracency attack in the middle of the mint. Yeah, we already read that part. Sincerest apologies, we read that part. OUSD hack follows that a similar retracency attack mounted only a few days ago against blockchain-powered pension fund Acropolis, which saw the offenders make off with $2 million worth of DAI. In more positive news for the market, cryptocurrency exchange Binance last week awarded $200,000 to the investigative team that unmasked the cyber criminals behind a 2018 phishing attack and the subsequent theft of its users' login credentials. The Daily Swig has contacted Origin for further comment and will update this article if and when we receive a response. So yeah, this is not a uncommon thing for us here on Coin Metal. We cover this stuff all the time, where these contracts are getting hacked, and I mean, come on now, this isn't anything new. The DAO should have been a fucking clue to you that you cannot automate people's funds to just be dispersed on these contracts without any like custodial supervision going on, like somebody actively watching the shit go on. Because this is what you're going to run into. You know, somebody writing their own rules in the background and then fucking executing a contract and siphoning off your funds. You know, I don't have any sympathy for these people, honestly. I really don't, because this is all responsibility that they took upon themselves, and that for whatever reason, you know, they didn't audit their code well enough. I bet you anything, Ernst & Young audited these fuckers. I bet you if I looked back into Origin Dollar, I could find Ernst & Young on them. Let's just try it. Let's just do it. Origin Dollar, Ernst & Young. Let's see if they're associated in any way. Ernst & Young stock doesn't exist. Here's why. Oh yeah, that's not it. Working Better World context. No. Nope. Apparently not yet. I bet you if I dug, we'd find that. Oh, let's throw in their audit. See, I'm trying to find out if Ernst & Young were the auditors of these guys' code, because Ernst & Young has kind of a spotty kind of reputation as far as like what their competency is to properly audit certain things, and I'm wondering if maybe they might have been involved in it, because see, I think that ultimately they are going to be the Moody's of the cryptocurrency auditing kind of thing. I don't know how to explain that properly. There was a series of events that took place in the home finance sector from like, I want to say like 2004 until 2007 when it started imploding. And that culminated with the 2008 financial crisis. Well, all along, if you watch The Big Short, they cover this in depth, okay? Whereas certain analysts caught on to it and capitalized on it, on what they'd found out during their investigation. But basically it was this, that Moody's and a couple other of these auditing agencies were giving these loan issuers and creditors AAA ratings, and I couldn't tell you specifically which one, a little foggy on that one. Anyway, was giving them AAA ratings where they did not really have AAA ratings with regard to the soundness of their books, but they were getting paid off. And they were just like looking the other way. They're like, yeah, sure, SEC, these guys are great. We audited their books. Here's a background. Here's a profile. Here's an attestation. Everything is wonderful. And then, when people wanted their money and they didn't get the money, things happened and bad stuff happened. You know, but the fact of the matter is that the whole of the crisis was born of people's trust in these auditing firms and the evaluations that they were providing to the rest of the market. And see, I fear that the same thing is going to happen within crypto. That there are auditing firms or people that are claiming that they are auditors that are going through the code, and the code isn't necessarily audited. It hasn't necessarily been run on a test net for months, if not years beforehand. It was not beta tested with live individuals and live network shit. I mean, it wasn't properly audited. Right? But we're going to find out. And it's going to be through incidences like this Origin dollar hack, where somebody exploits a little bug in the code, and then that's it. Millions of dollars lost. Bye-bye. Bye-bye millions. Hundreds of people hurt. Don't care. Millions of dollars. Bye-bye. So, again, I think that we've kind of hit the threshold of credulity, you know, with regard to these projects, where we're allowing so much trust that it's literally as easy as writing out a little bit of code, a little bit of functional code, and you're able to gank millions of dollars out of these contracts. That should not be possible, especially in association with cryptocurrencies, because they're not exploiting it on chain. They're exploiting it off chain in this trust bubble that these monkeys keep creating for themselves. And look, the DeFi thing, it's all wonderful. You're doing it completely outside of the regulatory landscape, and that is fine. You are accepting that risk. However, as somebody who has been involved in this space since its beginning, in my estimation, they are far beyond what I would entertain as an acceptable investment vehicle. There are better places to put your money and to make more money and to keep your money. You know, it's like, you know, I feel like I'm pointing at a Ponzi scheme. You know, I read through these fucking people's white papers and shit, and like, you heard it. I mean, I must have read like 20 pages of that fucking material, and I got a basic outline of what they're trying to do. And I could tell you that somebody with a Dogecoin wallet doing business with somebody else in Dogecoin could accomplish everything that they're trying to do and not involve them in any way, shape, or form. Not even have to accept the amount of risk that they want to introduce into your commerce. You don't even have to risk it. You could do it in Dogecoin, no problem. It's accepted globally. There's multiple exchanges that you can transact it on or exchange it for another cryptocurrency that is on an exchange that you trust more. I.e., the utilization is available. You can do it. You don't need these people to do it. If you want to do business where you're giving rides to people in your car, all you need is a fucking cell phone with a wallet on it. And you tell people, say, hey, yo, on message boards and stuff, say, hey, I'm working in this vicinity, I'm willing to go to this perimeter, and these are the currencies that I accept. All of a sudden you've disintermediated Origin, you've disintermediated Uber and Lyft and all those other people. Now, of course, you've also accepted the risk that when you show up, the motherfucker ain't just going to pull out a gun and steal your vehicle, carjack you, and take your fucking phone with your wallet on it. I mean, that's a threat. It exists. You got to anticipate that. And I don't think that Lyft or Uber actually give you any real security on that end. But the point being that it's entirely possible to disintermediate every one of these people. Just use Ripple. I mean, come on now. Get a Ripple wallet on your fucking phone. Use Ripple. Use Verge. Use Monero. Use any kind of currency that you want to. I mean, there's multi-currency wallets out there too, that you can do exchanges within the wallets themselves. And not just, some BFE coin that nobody's ever heard of outside of that exchange. I mean, like Monero, Verge, Doge. These coins and these networks are meant for us to use in order to facilitate commerce that would not otherwise be possible. And again, these guys, they keep trying to introduce themselves, and all they introduce is a very narrow route that you have to abide by a whole shit ton of rules and regulations that you really don't need involved in your commerce at all. And on top of that, you add the loss risk, where they haven't properly audited their code, and there's some little flaw in there that some monkey out there can exploit. And there goes your funds. Given what these people are trying to aspire, what kind of utilization they're trying to fulfill, I find that they're addressing it at just the wrong point. I mean, make an app where I can look up people who have already decided that they want to allow people to occupy a room in their house, or get a ride from them or whatever. Put them they register with it as an available vehicle or an available residency, and then list what currencies they're willing to do their transactions in. And maybe do it with a small listing fee that you collect from the person that is posting it. That could work. Launch that as an app. Anyway, I'm done giving out multi-million-dollar ideas. Let's go ahead and throw back down to some music. And so as far as where to go, I think maybe some Coal Chamber, Sway, here on Coin Metal. And that was Gizmachi with Burn. And it is with that that I'd like to close out this episode. Thank you very much for listening. I certainly do appreciate the support. We will be back again on Friday at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and so until then, I want y'all to trade safe, do your homework, and watch out for your own bunghole, because nobody else is going to do it for you. And as far as our last dance is concerned, in a rare event, I actually picked out a song for this one, and so here it is. Flight of Icarus by Iron Maiden. Last dance here on Coin Metal. Thank you again for listening, and y'all have an excellent evening. Good night.